Welcome to the Game Changer podcast. Today's topic, the advice I would give to my 27-year-old self. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Top of the morning, welcome back. This is the Game Changer podcast with Setema Gali. You guys better get your minds right and get up and let's go. See, it's more than the game that we changing.
So good to be with you guys today again. If you're brand new to this, share this with someone, like it, subscribe, and take a screenshot and tag me on social media if it makes a difference for you. All right, let's dive into the podcast today. Had someone hit me up on social media, and they said, hey, what advice would you give to your 27-year-old self? That's 20 years ago. 20 years ago, 2003. So it's wild. If I give you some context why I would give myself the things I'm about to share with you today, you'll understand 2003, I just finished up in the NFL. So I was 6 months out of the NFL, and I'm struggling with my life. I'm trying to figure out, man, what do I do? And I was doing mortgages at the time, but I really had not applied myself. I didn't, really put my shoulder to the wheel. I didn't dig my heels in yet. And I'm going to share with you some things that, knowing what I know now, Knowing what I know now, I would do a few things different. Not too much, though, because I feel like everything's worked out. So here we go. The advice I would give to my 27-year-old self. Number one, stay faithful to God. Man, I'll tell you what, I grew up in a family where we went to church and we read scriptures and we prayed. Not that I wasn't faithful to God back then, but I would say, hey, look, just trust God and trust God without the guilt and without the shame. So much of the way I grew up, and again, there's no blame on anyone. And this is how I interpreted things, which is a lot of guilt and shame around religion. And I'm just letting you know right now, the God that I believe in, the God that I worship, right? What I call Heavenly Father. He is loving. He is all loving, all knowing. He is here. And even if we make mistakes, I know a lot of times there's these punishments. I'm telling you now, just lean on God with love. He loves you. Number two, eradicate guilt and shame. Now, please hear me. I'm not saying go do something bad and don't feel bad about it. What I am saying is there's a lot of guilt and shame that drive behaviors, these two-faced, double, triple type way of living. No, just get rid of guilt and shame. For the most part, you don't have to beat yourself up, okay? You don't need to do that. So number one, lean on God, trust God, really go all in on God, Heavenly Father. Number two, get rid of guilt and shame. Look, 20 years ago, I made a lot of foolish mistakes. I make mistakes today as a 47-year-old, but I don't need to beat myself up with the hammer. Life is going to do that. Number three, get more serious about what I want sooner. Again, get more serious sooner about what I want. When I came up from the NFL, I just kind of dabbled, didn't take it really serious. It took me 9 months before I finally sat down and set some goals. It took me 9 months of just being broke, scraping by because I'd lost all the money from the NFL. I was foolish, had credit card debt. I just, again, made a lot of poor mistakes, poor decisions. But carve it out. I would have come home from the NFL and said, okay, I'm going to go make X amount. And I would have set a goal for that first year. I would have got after it. Because then 2004, I started to build wealth. I got serious, but it took me 8-9 months before I finally got my butt in gear. So that's number three, right? I would have got more serious sooner about what I really wanted for my life. Number four, I would have hired mentors and coaches a lot faster. I just had this weird mindset back then. The first guy that I hired was in 2005, and it was $500 a month for his marketing service. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm about to pay this guy $500. I mean, geez Louise, I pay someone $5,000 for an hour today. That's the type of level that I invest in myself now. So I would have just been if I could go back and say, listen, Setema, you need help. And one of the fastest ways, this was before YouTube and before social media, go find someone and hire them to be your coach or your mentor now. Don't wait until 2005. I can only imagine what would have happened in 2004 had I humbled myself and got really hungry, right? And then I was hungry to learn. So that's number four. I would have hired a mentor and coach a lot faster. Number five, I would still hit the gym. I was hitting the gym back then. I still hit the gym today. The gym, working out, exercise, fitness is the fountain of youth. It is the fountain of youth. Going to the gym. lifting weights, resistance training, weights, squats, curls, push, press, sprint, carry heavy things. Like, it is the fountain of youth, and still do it. I've been lifting for 32, 33 years. It's been amazing. Like, I love the gym. I travel, I'll pay $20 or 30 or $40 for a week membership. I'll pay $20 for a day to work out. It's that much of an investment. It's that important to me. Okay. So that's one, that one. Next thing I would tell my 27-year-old self, learn how to invest now. Learn how to invest. And yeah, I know the investment in yourself, hiring a coach or mentor, great. 100% the best thing. But I want to learn more about real estate. I was in real estate, and then I got out of real estate. I would have stayed in real estate. I would have found a way to just invest more and keep my money in real estate. Another thing I would tell myself is, do not over leverage yourself. I over leveraged like crazy. I was leveraged on every front, every card maxed because I could pay the cards off real fast. And then I lost everything. So another thing I would tell myself, which again, I live now, if I make this much, I live on this much, right? I can't again, just throwing out a number. You can't make 10 million a year and live on like 10 million a year. If you make 10 million a year, you want to live on like 2 million a year or 3 million a year. You want to create this savings between what you earn and how you live, so that you can then take that money, put it in the savings, and then that savings goes into investments. And we're talking about building wealth. So I'd have done that a lot faster, a lot sooner than waiting kind of where I'm at today. Another thing is, I would have traveled more. I traveled quite a bit back then, but man, I would just take a trip, like go. Pick up and go, because now I got a 16-year-old. Back then I had my 16-year-old he wasn't even born yet. Golly, I wasn't even married yet. I would have traveled more. Like, I traveled a bit, but when I started to make money, I just worked. I didn't take the trips. And when I had like gobs of money, I would have just traveled a lot more. So again, if you like to travel, go travel. If you don't, go find whether it's golf or hiking or lifting weights. Some other things that I wish I would have known back then that I didn't, but I know now. I'll tell you what, I knew this. Who you marry, probably the most important decision of your life. The person you're going to hitch to, connect with, the person you're going to go be in bed with and be in life with, and late nights, early mornings, dropping kids off, picking kids up, doing homework, changing diapers, making meals, traveling, getting through the airport with stroll. Like, that is the biggest decision, most important decision you'll ever make. And a lot of people will say things like, well, how do I find the right person? No, the answer is, or the question is, how do I become the right person? Like, you're going to attract who you are. So if you're a high value person, you've got some education, whether it's self-education or formal education, you're living on less than you earn, you're taking care of your body, you're taking care of your skin, you got good hygiene, you're intelligent, you know how to speak, you have emotional intelligence, you're going to attract that type of person. If you don't have any of that and you're kind of living in your mom or dad's basement or your grandpa's basement, and you're like in your late 20s or early 30s and you don't got much going on for you, that's what you attract. So you become the person who gets to choose who you marry or be with based upon who you choose to become every single day. And I'd say the last thing, again, I'm just, as I think back, and again, right, you can tell I'm thinking through this because I just got a message from someone. Last thing I'd share with myself back then. This is probably the most important one, but without a doubt. When it gets hard, and it is going to get hard, anytime you set out on a path to overcome, to become, to climb, to achieve, anytime you set out on a path to get to the top of a mountain, adversity is going to hit you. You're going to face the most wildest temptations, struggles, doubts, feelings of inadequacy. Don't stop. Keep believing. Right, on my social media recently, I posted one of those, how it started, how it's going. And I was in a Hampton Inn, like doing a slide PowerPoint presentation with slides to like 20 people in a Hampton Inn. And it was a free live event. And I had like 45 minutes. And then the picture under that to where I'm at today, it was like 6,000 people in a room. And I had an hour. And I also do my own stages. And I speak, and I get paid to speak, and I get paid to keynote. I get paid to be me. So for those of you listening to this, and you're going to face every type of, like, the dragons of doubt and the dragons of fear, you got to slay those dragons daily. You have to slay them daily. You show up one day and you're like, I'm afraid, I got to wait till everything's perfect. No, you take imperfect action with what you got, and boom, it's like you slay the dragon. And then the next day you're like, oh my gosh, there's that dragon of fear again. There's that demon of doubt again. And you slay them again. And what happens is, as you slay these dragons and these demons, which you're going to face, it's inevitable. They get smaller and smaller, and then pretty soon you just slay them like real fast because you do what's required. And then you level up to another level, and all of a sudden the dragon's bigger again. Like, oh my gosh, where did this come from? Well, but you're on a new level, and they say new levels bring new devils. Like, you're trying to be a game changer, right? A person who changes the game, a person who changes trajectory, a person who changes what's possible for future generations, builds wealth, creates memories, and expands a legacy. That's what a game changer is. So those are the things I would have shared with myself back then. Some of them I did, some of them I did not do. And regardless of where you're at when you listen to this, I invite you to don't stop, keep believing, don't stop believing, as Journey says. Because if you'll stay committed and you'll stay the course and you'll adapt and you'll adjust and you keep fighting and you keep figuring things out and you keep hiring the mentors and you keep going to seminars, you keep working these late night, early mornings, you're on caffeine and you're trying to just grind and figure this passion and this purpose and this prize out, you'll get there. Kind of along with that, I'll share this more spiritual, is you just got to know God has you. Like, I hope you know God got you. God has you. And even if you don't believe in God and you don't want God in your life, he still got you. I look back at the times where it was dark, where we were losing everything. I couldn't figure anything out with money. It was like nothing worked. I could look back and be like, oh, that's when God carried me. He took care of me. He blessed me. He guided me. He strengthened me. He sent people to me to help me on my way so I could become the man that I am today, to continue to make a difference for people. So don't stop believing. Keep moving forward. Keep believing, keep loving, keep living, keep leading, keep learning, and keep giving. Hey guys, if the podcast resonates, if it touches your heart and soul, and it gives you greater vision and clarity to go build the life you want so you can make a difference inside of your world, your family's world, and the community itself, all I ask that you do is share the podcast forward. We don't run ads, we don't have sponsors, but we can make a difference and help people become game changers for their lives, for their families, if we share the message. So share this with somebody who needs to hear it, and have an amazing day. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Until next time, I'm out.
Let's go. See, it's more than the game that we changing. We don't do it for the block, do it for the name. Yeah. No, there ain't no stopping it. If you really want it, better rock with it. This is how to be a game changer. Better put your pride down, heavy, get your pen up. Wanna be the greatest, we ain't stopping till we win.